Let's talk about virtual machine scale set and availability set in this video. These are two different ways in which you can group two or more virtual machines. Let's start with virtual machine scale set first. Let's imagine that you have a service which is deployed within a virtual machine and you want to horizontally scale that. In order to horizontally scale that solution, you need to create identical virtual machines and you also need to have some sort of load balancing mechanism to distribute traffic to your virtual machines. This is a lot of manual work, and if you want to add or remove additional virtual machines, then you need to do them manually. But with virtual machine scale set, Microsoft automates most of this work. So the goal of virtual machine scale set is scaling. And when you create virtual machine scale set, you'll specify the image that you want to use for your virtual machine. And you'll also specify how many virtual machines you want to start with. Microsoft will automatically create those many virtual machines with the same configuration behind the scene. And it will also deploy load balancer that will distribute traffic to your backend virtual machines. And this virtual machine scale set supports auto scaling, which means you'll be able to increase or decrease number of virtual machines based on either demand or schedule. In addition to that, if you want to change the configuration of your virtual machines, because all the configurations are maintained in one central location, if you simply change that configuration, it will be applied to all the virtual machines within that virtual machine scale set. But think about doing this without having virtual machine scale set. You need to go and apply this change to each of your virtual machine, right? So by having virtual machine scale set, you'll be able to manage all of those machine configuration from one location, and it also makes configuring auto scaling simple. So this is why whenever you want to have horizontal scaling solution for virtual machines, it is always better to go with virtual machine scale set rather than having individual virtual machines created and load balancing them manually. Okay, so that is what a virtual machine scale set is all about. Now let's move on to availability set. The goal of availability set is basically high availability. The way it works is, let's imagine that you have few virtual machines and all of them are part of a same availability set. And within an availability set, we have these concepts called update domain and fault domain. Virtual machines are added to different update domains and fault domains to provide high availability. Let's say what is update domain first. Update domains are nothing but a grouping of virtual machines. All the machines within a particular update domain will be updated or patched at the same time. So if you see this diagram here, we have three virtual machines and two of these virtual machines are part of one update domain and another machine is part of a separate update domain. So when Microsoft wants to patch these machines, they'll only patch one update domain at a time. So they may patch these two virtual machines first and they'll wait for 30 minutes for these two virtual machines to be up and available again. Then they'll patch this virtual machine. So this way, even during the patching or upgrading, at least one of your virtual machine is always available. So that is what an update domain is. And another concept is called fault domain. Fault domain is very similar to update domain, but this time the machines are grouped based on common power source and network switch. So if you see this diagram here, these two virtual machines are sharing same power source and network switch, so they are grouped together. Whereas this particular virtual machine is having its own power source and network switch, so it is grouped into its own fault domain. So now we have two fault domains, and in the first fault domain we have two virtual machines, and on the second fault domain we have one virtual machine. I have created this diagram for simplicity, but in general when you have fault domains, you'll have 3 by default. So in this case, because we have 3 virtual machines, we'll have 3 fault domains, each with one virtual machines. But let's go with this example here. So because we have these two virtual machines part of one fault domain, if there are any localized power or network failure on this particular domain, then only these two machines will be affected. This machine will still be up and running. And similarly, if this machine goes down because of power or network issue, only this machine will be affected. These two machines will not be affected because they are using different power and network switches. So this way, localized power and network failures will not bring down all of your machines in your availability set. So that is what a fault domain is. And availability set provides high availability by distributing your virtual machines across different update domains and fault domains. Okay, just to reiterate, virtual machine scale set's goal is scaling. You can achieve horizontal scaling, whereas availability set's goal is high availability. When you are adding machines to availability set, they'll be distributed to different update and fault domains to provide high availability. Okay, that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope this video is useful. Thank you.